So I talked about creating a video, bonge storymetrics. Sometimes when you're thinking of doing something, just do it. Vilena calm, to raw and edited. That's the stuff that supposed to be produced at that time. Kila kitu kuna time yake. So let's talk about the matrix. What is the matrix? What is it? The matrix is a concept. It's not something you can touch. It's not something you can see with your naked eyes. But you can see it manifesting. You can see its byproduct. And most of the time, we could say like it's a social construct. There is a way in which we are trained to believe, to think, to act that is self-limiting. So that belief system that is everywhere. It's not just. It's like a software. When you're born, you're like a blank canvas. You know nothing. You rely on your parents like 100%, from how to speak to how to walk. Everything you copied, or you needed an operating system. Let's imagine the matrix is an operating system. So when you're born, you're completely blank. Like ukibai comp yenye haina hata Windows, haina nini, it's just iko na BIOS peke yake. And BIOS is very basic. So kazi ya BIOS ni kukuonyesha how to install the Windows or the operating system that you want to use, whether it's Linux or it's iOS, whatever, Android. Even for a phone, all these things are computers. So imagine the matrix as an operating system, and everyone has that operating system. Everyone has that operating system running in their brains. So if everyone has that, meaning everyone is operating under a uniform set of rules and belief systems. There are things that people don't do, and some of the things in the matrix are good. Some of them are not good. And you know why that is the case? It's because God is the original creator of the matrix, of the simulation that we all need to abide by. So everything else is just a copy of 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 a copy. But the original copy is God. Because even if you look at how we design cars, engines, we go back to the principles of nature, and who created those principles of nature? It's God. God designed everything we see in nature. So if you want to see the model, the natural model of a helicopter, go and look at the Wasp, or the what is it called? This thing, Dragonfly. Yeah, I'll show you my B-roll apple. So like a dragonfly, the physics behind how a dragonfly flies is the same with a helicopter. The physics behind how a plane takes off is the same with how an eagle would take off. An eagle is a big bird, but it's able to fly so high. The same thing with a plane, a jumbo jet, so huge. But how is this thing able to take off from the ground? So man copies God's principles and wisdom to create his own, to continue the creation, basically, because we are co-creators as human beings. We are co-creators with God. We are just as creative. That's why the Bible says we are made in his image, because we are also designed to create, to continue with the creation. But instead of creating from nothing like God does, God can just create from nothing. We create from something. We need materials, we need tools. God doesn't need tools. He doesn't need material. He can create material. He can create tools from it. Like, how amazing is that? So the original matrix, belongs to God. And that's what we all live in. The matrix is in everything. It's in the soil, it's in the plants. Just picture it as an operating system. So, the devil comes into the picture by creating also his own matrix within God's matrix. Because without God's matrix, even the devil doesn't exist. The devil has to exist inside God's matrix. So the devil, having that creative juice from God, because he's a created being, he also creates his own matrix in rebellion to God's matrix. But the devil's matrix is designed to enslave, to kill, to steal, and to destroy. That's what the devil's matrix is all about. So the devil's matrix comes to you with entertainment, it comes to you with pornography, it comes to you with mindless sex, it comes to you with pride, lust, it comes to you with greed, envy. Not jealousy, envy. Because God is jealous, but he's not envious. There's a difference between being envious and being jealous. But we'll come back to that later. I don't want this video to be too stretched. Okay, I don't care. It can be stretched out as long as it has to be. As long as you get the point that you're in the matrix. So the matrix that I'm talking about is it's not God's matrix, which is the original matrix. The original painting on the canvas. Before there was anything, there was nothing, emptiness. So God came and created his own idea of reality, his own matrix. But the devil comes and corrupts that matrix by creating his own matrix that now corrupts God's matrix. It's like having a virus in your computer. That virus corrupts all the files in your operating system. You get it? Uko na files hapo za Word ni nini, but because there's a virus that has infected that computer, and in this case the computer is your brain is the computer. Because there's a file that has corrupted your computer, all the files in the computer will not work as they should. Unaona unafungua browser, it takes too long to load. The machine, computer yenyewe pia inaanza overheat because it's doing too much trying to figure out where is the problem, and it can't troubleshoot the problem. So that is the matrix. The matrix is a belief system. It's an operating system that runs the world. That's why even Jesus said the devil is the god of this world. He's the god of this matrix. But there's a matrix beyond this one. There's a matrix beyond this one, and that matrix belongs to God. And because the devil is running in God's matrix, that doesn't mean that God doesn't know about it. He knows. He allows, he ordains it. He doesn't allow it. He ordains it. He ordained it to be like that. He ordained it such that us as human beings, he would test us by making us face the devil as our biggest adversary, the enemy, the evil one. That's why the Lord's Prayer, the one thing you pray about is for God to keep you away from the evil one. Lead us not to temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. He is the evil one because he comes to corrupt, he comes to steal, kill, and destroy. He'll corrupt your mind, he'll corrupt your destiny. He will turn you into nothingness. He's coming to destroy you, and he's using the matrix to do that. So, having understood that the matrix is a creation within a creation, the matrix is something the devil created. It's a system. It runs through government. It runs through economics. It runs through social dynamics and all that shit. It runs through relationships. It cuts through religion. It cuts through everything. The devil's matrix is everywhere. You can see it. Once you have this understanding, you can see it everywhere. And your best solution to overcome it is to go back to the first principles that created the original matrix, which is God's matrix. And that is, you just go back to the Bible. You don't use the Bible as a crunch or but you use it as a pointer to where you're supposed to go, where you're supposed to. So you don't have to, I'm not saying you go to the Bible and do everything the people in the Bible used to do in the Old Testament. No, use it as, if you're lost, you would need a map to find your way. So you use the Bible as a map. You see? But the Bible itself is not the final destination. You see? So you can get information from other maps, compare and contrast. You can look at other books of religion, and not even just religion, other books of wisdom. You can look at scientific books. You can look at all this will confirm where the Bible is pointing you to. The Bible is pointing you towards more life. You see? At the end, if you conclude the message of the Bible, it's just pointing you towards more life. But you see, everything that is contrary to the Bible, it's pointing you towards death. You see? Even if you don't believe, in Jesus Christ, but if you just look at the principles the Bible is pointing you towards, they point you towards more life. Whether it's in business, whether it's in relationships, whether it's in politics, governments, economics. If you follow the principles that have been pointed out in the Bible, they lead towards more abundance. But you see, the principles of the devil's matrix, they point you towards poverty. That's why you see religion today, most churches, they like to glorify poverty. They like to glorify poverty like it's the end-all, be-all of what you're supposed to do here on this planet. They like to use Jesus as example as, he came on riding on a donkey. They don't understand why Jesus came riding on a donkey. So because Jesus came riding on a donkey, we should not also be rich or we should not have good things in this life instead of Jesus riding on a horse. Because at the time, the horse was like the Mercedes-Benz of transportation. And the donkey was like the Toyota. So you see? So because Jesus was riding on a donkey, people conclude that, it means we're supposed to be poor. No. When Jesus was riding on a donkey, coming to Jerusalem, it means he was coming in peace, because a donkey is a peaceful animal. He was coming in peace. But when he comes back for the second time, he'll come on a horse. And that time it will be time for war. He'll be coming now down to destroy this matrix, the devil's matrix. That's the point of the donkey and the horse. The donkey is a servant. The horse is a warrior. You see? When someone comes with a horse, at that time, in the context of that generation, it meant this is someone, either an officer of the law or a very rich man. Someone on a horse was someone who was rich, someone who was elevated. That's why there's this saying, get off your high horse. Get off from your high position. So that's why Jesus had to come with a donkey into Jerusalem to show that I am coming to you in peace. The peace I bring to you is from the Father. But when I come again the second time, I will come as a warrior. And I will come on a horse. It's not about poverty or whatever, riches. Another verse that people use from the Bible to glorify poverty is the parable of the young rich ruler who was told, he was told, a rich man, it's harder for a rich man to go to heaven than a camel due to make it through the needle of whatever. You get the point. So this is another verse that is totally misunderstood. When Jesus talks about the rich guy, he doesn't talk about riches in terms of physical wealth. He talks about spiritual richness. Because this guy who is this young ruler, in his own eyes, he is spiritually rich. He he doesn't need anything that Jesus can offer. These are the kind of people who are self-righteous. They think because they go to church or because they follow the law, now God should accept them. But God is saying all your righteousness, umegather, compared to my righteousness, it's like garbage. You cannot buy your way into heaven with your own self-righteousness. So because going to heaven, you need to buy your way into it through righteousness. But not your own righteousness, because your righteousness is worthless to God. You need the righteousness of Christ, because only the righteousness of Christ, that's the currency that God understands. He doesn't understand the currency of our own righteousness. It's a very subtle point, but often it's very misunderstood. And that's why by the mean, I need to search these things for myself. I can't just go to a church and expect someone to do the research for me and explain it to myself. And explain it to me vile ameelewa. I need to go and do the research on my own, study to show yourself approved, then get the real understanding behind everything. Now then you'll know the kind of matrix that it's running. It's running even in the churches, man. People are using the Bible, but they can't get to understand what the Bible actually is saying. It's speaking plain, but imagine people don't understand it. Because they're not taking time to study carefully. The same way you would study for an exam. People don't do that with the Word of God. So that is the matrix. That is the devil's matrix, and it's everywhere. It's everywhere, man. And the best way to overcome it, the first move you need to do, because one of the biggest chains that keeps people enslaved to the matrix is poverty. Poverty is the biggest thing the devil uses to just keep everyone enslaved. Because once you don't have money to feed yourself and your family, you'll do anything. You will kill, you will steal, you will rape, you will, just to get that money, you will lie to get money just to feed yourself for another day. So one of the best things you can do for yourself is to free yourself by making sure you have as much money as possible. That way the devil can't buy you, because the only thing the devil uses to buy you is money. Look at these celebrities, look at, I'll say, like the whole Illuminati conspiracy. It's the bait that the devil uses is money. Anakuja as a rapper, anakupatia do, then anakuambia, hey, now for this money you'll have to produce these types of songs. Always toa ngoma zita uplift to say you'll always have to produce songs that encourage people to do more wicked shit. Look at the Cardi B's of the world, look at the Drakes, look at the like I would say Migos. They've been rapping about death for so long until death now has come for them. One of them just got killed, like kiujinga too. Because you keep rapping about death. Fucking. Haya, ukitoka kwa ngoma, unaenda kwa TV, it's just pornography. Ukitoka nje, just walking around, pornography, sex, stealing, lying. Politicians are corrupt. Like everyone is operating in the devil's matrix. Including me. I'm not saying I'm above it. I'm deep into the matrix, man. I'm doing all these things, all this wicked shit that the matrix encourages. And all of us are doing it. Don't be self-righteous to think that you're cut from a different cloth. My friend, no one is above the matrix. Even the people who think are above the matrix, they're still. I'm telling you, the devil has done a great job of keeping everyone enslaved and keeping everyone blinded to the fact that they are slaves. Even those who have money, some of them are still caught up in the matrix, because Look at something like Kanye West juzi akijaribu kubonga. Jamaa kuna do lakini haizi sema kitu. Because he's trapped. He has billions, but he can't say anything. Because if he says anything that encourages people to get out of the matrix, they kill him. So hizo vitu ni alikuwa anasema, he had to come and apologize. He had to come and, take back his words. Is that really freedom? Even if you have money. Me nasema, if that it's what it means to have, you see, again, like I'd rather have billions and I'd rather have nothing but have my freedom. You see, I'm not saying I'm encouraging poverty, but I'm saying I want the billions to come with the freedom of speaking your mind. That's the only thing that makes sense for me, because there's no point of having all that cash and not having the freedom to speak your mind. Can you imagine that? Not having the freedom to say what you mean or mean what you say. That's crazy. So that's the matrix, man. The matrix is a concept, it's a belief system. It's a social construct, if you'd like to call it like that. I don't know, but I hope this gives you an idea of what I'm talking about, an idea of what the matrix is. It's a long video, it's going into 21 minutes. God. But that's how excited I am about this shit. So my journey, my plan, my strategy of getting out of the matrix is first to get the money. And get the money in a way, get the money outside the matrix. Outside the conventional ways. Because God provides ways for us to make money outside the matrix. He provides those ways. He gives us clues. Buddha. He gives us clues every time. But most of the time we don't take action because we're scared. We're scared of what the matrix will do to us. But don't have any fear. If David faced that Goliath, a giant, and he killed the giant. David was a small boy. He wasn't even a man yet. And he killed a giant. You too can kill this giant of a matrix. So let's go, Bana. Let's go. That is a King Kater experience, and this is an episode of The Broke Billionaire. Peace out.